So Adhyayan, welcome on ETimes. First of all, after your
Thank
debut,
you.
making a good debut for sure, and then now we have, this Aashram for you. Tell me something about this project and how you were approached for this role and what excited you to be a part of this, this web series.
I think first and foremost, I have to say that I have to thank have to thank the audiences, I have to thank all the fans, all the well-wishers out there who have given immense amount of love to Ashram. I think it's unbelievable the reaction that we all have been received, that we all have been receiving as far as Ashram is concerned, and especially as far as I'm concerned. Thank you so much for loving Tinka Singh so much. Disha Jha is a friend of mine, and I found out back then that Prakashji was making a show called Ashram, and it was his debut on the OTT platform. And I have been doing the rounds of Prakash's office. I'd been knocking on doors for a couple of years now, and I told Disha, I said, listen, if there is any part for me, please give me one opportunity where I can come and do a look test and convince Prakashji to give me this role. And she, of course, she's very, very kind. And she called me to the office, and I sat. I know Prakashji because I assisted Prakash Jha when I was 17 years old. When I just come back from the New York Film Academy, I assisted him as a second AD on his film called Dil Dosti, etc. So of course I knew him. My father knows him. I went and I met him. I said, sir, मैं इतने सालों से आ रहा हूँ, and I know कि आपने promise किया था कि कोई सही role आएगा तब आप मुझे देंगे. Now here's a character of this eccentric, crazy ass rock star, and I'm a singer, sir, and I direct my own music videos as well. So please have a look at my work and see if you think that I fit in this part. And he saw it and he loved it. And then we had a look test, and that is how Tinka Singh was born. So I'll eternally be grateful to Prakash Jha for giving me this role, because I've had my own set of journey and struggle for the last 11 years in the industry, and I knocked on so many doors and no one gave me work. And finally Prakash Jha decided to open his doors for me, so I'll eternally be grateful to him.
So Adhyayan, are you also trying to have a career in singing as well as acting, or do you want to just focus on acting as of now?
No, I want to focus on everything. Yeah, I mean, if you see, it depends what comes to me at what time. And when I wasn't getting the right kind of roles, I realized there's no point sitting at home and just whiling away my time and not doing anything. I'm also extremely inclined towards music, and especially after there has been this huge acceptance in my music because the audiences have loved my songs. Sonyu 2.0 did 24 million views on YouTube, and honestly, I've had no money to promote any of these songs. They were all organic. Ayana 2, which I recreated with Arjun Kaningo, hit about 5 million. So I realized that the power of YouTube, where there is no wall between you and the audiences, that you can just put your work out there, and if people like it, not like it, dislike it, abuse you, it's all going to happen the same at real time. And when that happened, I said, chalo, jab tak mere ko kaam nahi milta hai, at least let me move towards this direction with music. And when I started making my music, that's when Damage 2 happened. That's when I did a show, Damage 2 with Hina Khan, which did extremely well, which was my debut web series. And when that happened, and then I shot for Sonyu. When Sonyu happened, then I got Aashram. So everything was absolutely, it's very interconnected, my music and my work. And because I also act in those songs, also because I write the screenplay of the songs, I direct. So I guess I get an opportunity to do everything at one time, so I'm very blessed that way, that, I've been able to, do all these things. And so
and
there is no
happened.
and then lockdown happened, and there was so much that I was going to announce, and unfortunately we all been sitting home for the last couple of months, unfortunately. But now that things are opening up, so we are hopeful.
Also, Adhyayan, you had lost a lot of weight when you made your debut in Bollywood. How was that inspiring? And did you always wanted to get into this profession, or you had any other plans before?
No, I in fact, when I was overweight, and I did theatre in London when I was studying, doing my schooling from there. I don't know if you've seen the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
If you watch the Game of Thrones, Ygritte, the girl who played Ygritte, was my classmate. And my final exams, my practical exams in theatre studies, she was my co-star. And I'm of course very proud of her, what she's achieved. But as far as I'm concerned, so I've done my theatre from there, and I always, of course, wanted to be an actor. But then I realized somewhere when I was like 15, 16, I realized, bhai, ye weight to mujhse lose ho nahi raha hai. To ek kaam karte hain, direction mein ghus jate hain. So after I finished my schooling from London, I went to New York, and I said, let me try my hands in direction. And while I was directing one of the short films there, one of the actors walked up to me and said, listen, the way you direct, you enact every scene out, and you're an Indian and we are Americans and we usually don't understand your accent, but the way you emote, I think you should be an actor. Yeah, what are you doing here being a director? And I've always been inclined towards direction as well. So I took the easy way out. I said, "Chalo, acting मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगी because weight lose नहीं हो रहा है, तो मैं direction ही कर लेता हूँ." And it was that day and it's this day, where I lost, about 50, 60 kgs when I came down, and I lost all that weight. And I said, you know what, you have to be an actor first, and stuff like that. And that is how the journey of, losing weight began. And I got my first break and stuff like that. So it's been a fun journey.
Also, the first when you made your debut, it was not through your dad. Like, as there is a
No.
lot of debate happening, taking place in Bollywood. Like, if you know someone, the nepotism culture which is happening. But of course, when it comes to your own career, and if I see careers of many actors out there, be it Abhishek Bachchan, Sikandar Khair for that matter, they have also like somewhere struggled a lot, to make their mark in the Bollywood. What do you have to say on this?
No, absolutely. I think when people discuss about, or they tag me as the product of nepotism, I think it's the most fashionable term being used today. I think people need to understand one thing. As far as I'm concerned, individually as an actor, I keep telling people that my first break was given to me by Ajay Devgan and Kumar Mangat. Ajay Devgan spotted me when I was getting my haircut, and I got a call from his office saying कि कुमार मंगत फिल्म बना रहे हैं और अपनी बेटी के लिए आपको लॉन्च करना चाहते हैं. So I realized कि यार, I'm only 19. My father said, listen, you're too young right now to start off, and I for some reason I was very impatient back then. I said, no, I think I'm ready, and this and that, I want to do it. And he said, okay, go and meet Kumarji, see what happens. And I went there, and I was told, boss, Shahrukh Khan hai ek DDLJ mein aur ek tum aane wale ho. I said, भाई बहुत बड़ी बात है यार, मतलब मैं आने वाला हूँ, शाहरुख खान, उफ, कमाल, this, that, how filmy talks are. And when I went there, they said, but you have to give an audition. And when I auditioned for the role, I came back home, and my father told me, he said, Adhyayan, I don't get a good vibe from this. I don't think you should do it. But if you do it, then you don't come crying to me. It's your call, And my father very specifically had told me that he will not launch me. He said, look, I've given you the best education in the world. I've sent you the best school in the world. I've given you everything you want. But as far as your professional career is concerned, don't expect me to launch you. Now, when I went to Ladakh for the first schedule of my film, and when I got and for those 2 months, when I was doing my prep work for the role, I was never given a script. When I reached Ladakh, when I was given my script, I opened my file. I had 2 scenes. I had 2 scenes and 2 songs in the entire film. And I called up my father crying, and I said, listen, I'm screwed. Yeah. I said, I don't have anything in the film to do. And I'm supposedly this star kid who's supposed to be launched, but there's nothing there. And my father told me, he said, do you remember when you came home, I told you to not do the film? Now it's your loss. Now you have signed it, and you cannot leave your producer midway. And you're shooting in Ladakh. Now you will shoot and you will come back. And I remember shooting for that film where I had nothing to do. And a very close, dear friend of mine who's done extremely well in his life, Nakul Mehta, he was the hero of the film, and he was a complete outsider. So when you talk about nepotism with me, boss, I actually was given a very raw deal being a star kid in my first film. Luckily, when my father was doing a show called Jhoom India on Sahara TV, is when Mahesh Bhatt and my father became friends, and Mahesh Bhatt saw my photographs, and he called me to the office. And that is the time when he saw me, he spoke to me, he said, I see some spark in you, and I'm going to sign you for 3 films. It had nothing to do with my father. And then they signed me for Raj 2, and then they gave me Jashan, and then Raj 2 did well, and then Jashan did not do well. And then 12 of my films, which I had signed with big banners, shut down. I was thrown out of those films. I was out of work for 4 years. Then I did a film called Heartless, which my father promised me and told me, he said, I will make 1 film for you. 1 film, that's it. If you do well, you do well. You don't do well, that's too bad. And he put in so much of his own money in it and made that film for me. And the film didn't do well because the distributors and exhibitors did not give it any shows. So my film could not reach out to the audiences. So it's been a very difficult journey since then, being a star kid. But having said that, there are so many star kids, and I don't want to name them because it would be absolutely wrong, who have given multiple flops out there and are still getting films today. So as far as, me being the king of nepotism is concerned, I don't think I fit the bill, man. I don't think I'm a part of that. And I'm so glad and grateful that even in a small role in Aashram, which the kind of appreciation I never got even being a lead in my films,
Hmm.
and it's overwhelming. It's
Hmm.
unbelievable what it has done for me. And my father had always told me during my days of struggle. My father told me, Adhyayan, remember one thing, that it is not the length of the role but the strength of your role. You have one scene, and if the audience, and there is nothing bigger than audiences accepting you. The
Hmm.
day they accept you, you see your entire thing is going to change. Your entire perception that you are a star kid, you don't know how to act, you're bad, you're this, you're that, everything has changed because I was given one good big show, two good scenes, and beautiful writing, and a
Yeah.
beautiful character like Pinka Singh. It changed everything for me.
Also, how was it working with Bobby Deol? Have you come across on the sets with him? Like, do you have any scenes with him? Tell us something about that.
Bobby sir is amazing. Yeah, of course, I've done my
Maybe
scenes with him, and
also for the first time for him also, I think. Like, he's hardly played negative characters like so. Last.
yeah, no, he's absolutely hardworking. I mean, half the time you saw him was rehearsing his Hindi lines because they were Shuddh Hindi, and
Yeah.
he used to be so worried and afraid all the time. But in Bobby sir, I found an older brother, honestly speaking, and I'm not saying it in a filmy term,
Yeah.
but I actually found an older brother in him, and we talk every single day, and we video call each other. Me, Bobby sir, Tushar, Sachin, Darshan, all we've become friends. And that's the most beautiful part of what I've taken back from Ashram. And Bobby sir is so grounded and so disconnected with his stardom. And just so sweet and so nice, and he treats everyone, everyone's equal for him, and that's exactly what happened even on the sets of Ashram with Prakash Jha also. That there was no system of hierarchy. मैं
Hmm.
डायरेक्टर हूँ, बॉबी देओल बहुत बड़ा स्टार है, तुम छोटे स्टार हो तो तुम वहां बैठो, तुम्हें ये रूम नहीं मिलेगा, तुम्हें everyone was absolutely equal. I think that was the most beautiful part of this set, something that I've taken back.
Also, do you somewhere like are you opening up to web series more? Because see, right now maybe at in films sometimes films don't work, or like projects like go out of hand. But if you see in web series, the chance of being known by public is quite high. Like even for Kunal Kemu, for that matter, the kind of
Hmm.
web series he's done so far, the kind of mileage he's getting through that. Are you
Hmm.
open to doing more of web series than actually working on films like that?
Absolutely. I'm open to anything and everything that excites me, whether it's film, whether it's OTT, whether it's television. I'm open to everything, and OTT has opened this huge Pandora's box where people who unfortunately weren't getting work because of films, because they were not saleable for some reason, people felt. Now, OTT is giving a chance to so many newcomers, um, so many new talents out there. So many new directors are getting a chance to, put their script out there and make good content. I'm absolutely happy, and I want to be a part of OTT because OTT is experimenting in a humongous way. And and there is so much that you can do with the characters on OTT which you can't do in films, because for some reason they say, "Arey nahi, ye thoda sa arty hai, ye commercial hai," which nobody understands. And on OTT there is no ye commercial OTT hai or ye arty hai. There's nothing like that. You make what you make. Whether people like it, dislike it, that's another story altogether. But you can do what you want to do with OTT. So I want to be a part of more web shows, and I hope that it opens new doors for me on the OTT platform.
Again, you also said like there was one of the directors like who promised you a film, but he never like responded to your calls or never got back. I don't want to know the name of the director, but somewhere do you feel that it's good, like you're not working with someone who actually just made some fake promises to you, but actually didn't give you an opportunity? What do you have to say on that?
No, absolutely. I think I see. My point is not about giving an opportunity. You have to understand one thing. When I spoke about the producer director, he doesn't owe me work. He doesn't have to give me work. My entire point was, look, I am trying to knock on doors, and you're a very influential person. I just want you to meet me. I want you to meet me and understand who I am, because there have been so many times where I've had conversations with journalists, conversation with directors, technicians, where they've said, "Arey, this is who you are. We thought you were somebody else." And because there are certain perceptions floating around you in the media, people don't get to understand who you really are. And you have to meet people so that they understand who you are. And I just asked for one meeting, and for 7 years my call wasn't answered. I was never asking for work. And that's just disrespectful, man. And that's just wrong. If tomorrow somebody who has done a decent amount of work or films in the industry wanted to meet me, I just pick up the call at least. Forget, chalo, theek hai, milo bhi mat. At least answer me. Hey, sorry, little caught up. I'll fix the meeting or whatever, this and that. I'll see. Ye bhi nahi. Where I went and met a Rajkumar Hirani, and I remember meeting him with my father, and he was so respectful. He never gave me work, but he was so good. He came down to drop me and my father. Does Rajkumar Hirani today need to come down to his office to drop me and my father today? No. But it is just a sense of respect that you have towards another artist. That's it.
Adhyayan, also, like, this question I would not want to ask you, but like, of course, there are a lot of things happening, currently, like, Kangana, you taking toll on, like, Mumbai police, targeting Mumbai police. Of course, you had an equation with her, and like, even now you respect her a lot. But what do you have to say in the Sushant case overall? Of course, now CBI is involved, and somewhere there are mysteries, like whether he committed suicide or what. He being an outsider, he had to go through a lot. Even Ria coming with a lot of statements, but like, right now when people are coming in support of Ria, saying that right now she's been put in the spot right now, even after, like, not being declared as, like, being a criminal like that. So what do you have to say on this overall, allegations, and the Kangna's take, and the way she has called Mumbai Pakistan? What do you have to say on that?
I think honestly speaking, I'll be very honest in my interviews. I'm usually very honest. I'm very honest. But as far as the person who you're talking about, I would not want to comment on her stance or on her opinion or her judgments. I think I absolutely respect what she wants to say about the industry or the city or the people in the industry. Whatever her opinion is, absolutely she's entitled to it. As far as I am concerned, I can only talk on my behalf. Is that it's very unfortunate with what has happened. For once, let's not make this about insider outsider. For once, let's not make this about nepotism, groupism, campism. That's a fight that we have to fight, and I'm also a part of it. I will also fight. I don't feel I'm an insider. I'm an insider. I feel I'm an outsider. I've not been treated that way in the industry. Okay, so I also want to fight not just for myself, for a lot of talent out there who's extremely talented. Even just take our show, the amount of talented people that we have, like a Chandan Roy Sanyal, like a Tushar Pandey, all these people should be put on covers. These people should come, on the cover of Bombay Times, or wherever. They should be everywhere, right? They're extremely talented. They've done well. Audiences have loved them. And as far as what has happened with Sushant is concerned, whether it's a murder or a suicide, I am not CBI. I am not Supreme Court. I am not, a system where I can pass a judgment. It would be absolutely wrong in an ongoing investigation for me to point out and say, yahi hua hai. But of course, somewhere down the line, with so many things floating around, so many things hearing from television, from social media, from your friends, when this is something that I have not been able to get over for the last couple of months since Sushant passed away. And I want to know. That's the least that he deserves, is for the world to know, hey, what exactly happened. Now, for me to pinpoint and say there was a politician involved, an actor involved, or there was Ria involved, or she or he, whoever, I can't say anything because there are 10 things, so much information that is being passed around every single day. You can't judge. You have to let people do their job. And a fair play, a fair perspective of the so-called accused should always be given. Like, if Ria was given an opportunity to talk, fair enough, she came out and she spoke. Now, if you ask me again, but what is your stance on that? Do you believe what she has said or not? Again, I'm not able to comment on it. What my heart says is that I feel Sushant did not commit suicide. That's what my heart says. At the end of the day, forget everything. All I can say is what I feel from my heart. Okay, is what I feel is that Sushant did not commit suicide, and I am hoping that with the investigation taking place every single day, and there's so much muck shit been thrown around everywhere. I just hope that they do the right job, and I hope that we get to find out. That's all. That's the end result that we want, right? There is no one who, I don't want to tarnish anybody's image. There are families involved behind that. People are living, उनकी जिंदगी जो है वो सो कॉल्ड हराम हो जाएगी भाई, आगे वो लोग जिंदगी जी नहीं पाएंगे अगर हम लोग जैसे हैं सबको जो कॉन्विक्ट पहले ही बोल दे कि भाई तुम हो. So let's understand कि क्या हुआ है, and then we'll probably come to a point, man.
Also, you spoke about, you being also dealing with drugs, at a very early stage. And like even Sushant, for that matter, was drunk. But like, it's not only Bollywood. Even now, if you see in Bombay, the cases of,
Yeah,
even kids I see like on streets, like, be it, 14-year-old, they are actually having drugs and they find it very cool. Even
yeah,
college kids, for that matter, they find
yeah,
hash and weed very cool. They find it like a culture kind of thing. And of course,
yeah.
like, after many science theories being proved, like, cannabis is good for health and all like that, people are more, all the more consuming it. So do you somewhere feel it's wrong to just blame Bollywood being, called as like, a
No,
drugstore
no,
like that
because
for that
no, no,
matter?
it absolutely is, because let's not be stupid about this, because you know it, I know it. We are the younger generation. We understand right now how people are involved. The younger generation is involved into drugs. Whether you're an actor, whether you're a business, I've seen it at business. I've my friends. I am not in touch with them anymore. Honestly, I used to be, where the reason why I stopped going is because they're doing all sorts of drugs. They're doing MDMA, they're doing cocaine, they're doing hash, and they're drinking also, they're smoking also, they're not sleeping also for 2 2 nights. I said, hey, look, it's a very individual choice. I said, I don't want to be a part of this group. I don't want to be a part of this. This is not my end goal. If you go around hanging around in this company, people eventually think you're also a druggie. People start thinking, bhai, tum bhi drugs kar rahe hoge, because this is exactly what happened in 2010, 11, where I met this big, again, producer writer who said, hey, listen, this guy is not giving you work because he thinks, bhai, tu bahut bada cocaine addict hai yaar. I said, bro, in my life, I have not sniffed cocaine ka C also. And there is nobody in the industry today, and I challenge anybody to get up and say, Adhyayan Suman came to my party and he does drugs. Because I never did it. And why should I lie? They were in my interview, which I had given in 2016. I've said it there that 3 4 times I tried hash, and that is it. And after that, I had no connection to it. And just by saying कि हमारी industry filthy है, हमारी industry में drugs है और सारे, तो what about what अक्षय कुमार 4 बजे सुबह नहीं उठते क्या? अक्षय कुमार फिट नहीं है क्या? वरुण धवन फिट नहीं है क्या? क्या वो सब ड्रग्स करते हैं? तो ये है हमारे, मैं कहाँ डिनाई कर रहा हूँ कि हमारे इंडस्ट्री में लोग ड्रग्स नहीं करते,
And
हमारे
just
इंडस्ट्री में
because
करते हैं.
drugs are illegal, maybe the question about, drugs being, taken, maybe like see hash and weed for that matter, many people say the consumption is fine. But like when people are actually consuming liquor for that matter, they do have a lot of liver issues. They do, their
Yeah,
health get affected and all. There are people who get
yeah,
drunkard and like get affected a lot. But then at the same time, of course, like why should one target Bollywood? Because when the whole India, many people in India find it
of
very cool,
course.
consuming something like this.
But I have seen it. I'm telling you, because I'm telling you first-hand experience. Because I'm an actor, so I've been mostly around actors back then. I don't go to any filmy parties, but when I used to go there, I've seen newcomers from smaller towns being forced and influenced to do drugs because they feel unless and until they don't do drugs, they're not a part of that circle. And if they're not part of the circle, they will not get a film. I've seen young girls, 17-year-old, 18-year-old. I've seen guys, young guys, good-looking guys, fit guys doing drugs all night. And I just used to think, I'm like, yeah, this is not the reason. This is not the way you're going to get work. No, at the end of the day, I mean, look, there is a camp, there is a group that believes and does all this, right? And I'm not going to, I don't have any agenda, and I don't want to talk about them also because,
And you
you
said,
know,
like, if one forms an opinion, even the five others in that camp actually forms an opinion about you. And then they all, like, somewhere, like, ban you for that matter.
yeah, and the perceptions are something that you cannot break. It's very, and especially our industry, there's so much gossip. It is so difficult to break a perception here. It's taken me 8 years, 9 years of my life to break certain perceptions in my life. It's been hell for me, which I don't discuss today, which the audience, which people out there don't know, but I know now what I've been through. And that is why I'm saying that, just like by saying कि भाई इसी ने जो है वो यही industry जो है वो drugs करती है. If drugs per se is bad, and there needs to be a cleanup drive in the entire country, the entire world, not just the country, the world needs to clean up drugs, and the world needs to stop doing drugs. I'll tell you one thing. There are times where I've gone and met these big casting directors who have said, boss, तेरे पास six pack क्यों नहीं है यार? You take steroids. You know those steroids are illegal. Those steroids are not available in the market. Do you know so many actors have gone to hospitals which you don't know about, and they have been kept in the hush hush? So there are so many things that are going under the carpet now. If you sit here and start discussing everything, it's going to be an endless debate and an endless journey. But now since we are discussing drugs and stuff like that, चलो भाई अब drugs का Pandora's box खोल दिया है आपने अगर, so let's discuss it. Yes, it's there, prevalent in our industry, but to say everyone doing it is something I'm so sorry, but I don't agree with this. There are some people like a Vidyut Jambal, who's probably a vegan who believes in fitness, who's the fittest man and the fittest man in the world, one of the top 5 fittest men in the world. Akshay Kumar, who's so fit, who wakes up so early in the morning, he's so fit. He doesn't believe doing drugs. I don't do drugs. There are so many other actors in what actors सिर्फ फिल्मों में थोड़ी ना, actors television पे भी हैं भाई, टेलीविजन पर भी हैं, हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री है, तमिल फिल्म इंडस्ट्री है, बंगाली फिल्म इंडस्ट्री है, सब एक्टर्स अपने अपने मकाम पर बड़े हैं, सब थोड़ी ना ड्रग्स कर रहे हैं, है ना? So we need to understand that and not influence the public the wrong way, because right now, you know, the public believes what you tell them, what the media writes. हाँ ये तो घटिया, कल किसी के बच्चे आना चाहेंगे इंडस्ट्री में, कल there are aspirants who want to become actresses and actors, and every industry is tough, believe me. The kind of debauchery that you see in a businessman's house, you can't imagine. When there is money, when there is power, then there is debauchery, there is filth. Remember that. People misuse that, and it is everywhere. So you have to decide as an individual whether you want to be a part of that party or you want to be a part of the group or not. If I do drugs and I kill myself, which is absolutely not good and not the right thing to do, but if I tell you that, you know, Samina, I think boss, come and let's do cocaine, man, it's, you know, it's really cool, I'm influencing you, that's wrong. Just like how nepotism is not wrong. मेरा बच्चा, मैं अपने बच्चे को पढ़ाऊंगा, स्कूल भेजूंगा, उसको एजुकेशन दूंगा, उसको एक अपॉर्चुनिटी जरूर दूंगा, उसके बाद उसकी किस्मत है. Right? You have to understand that with this, it's the same. It's like sort of the same thing. You are doing it, boss. You kill yourself. I'm okay, but please don't offer it to anybody else. Kill yourself. I'm fine. So that is what I'm saying. You know, it's a long topic to debate on. I don't want to get into.
The last question to you: what is this one takeaway you take, from this ashram for you?
I told you. I said that in our life as actors, we are always thinking कि भाई अगर मैं पोस्टर पे होऊंगा तो लोग मुझे रिकग्नाइज करेंगे, अगर मैं लीड रोल करूंगा तो दुनिया को पता चलेगा कि मैं कितना बड़ा स्टार हूँ, अच्छा एक्टर हूँ. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. I think Tinka Singh, when he comes in 2 scenes, the appreciation that he has got, as I said, that is not the length of the role but the strength of a role that matters. So to all the aspiring actors and actresses out there who want to come in the industry, don't be worried that कि आपको लीड रोल मिल रहा है या नहीं मिल रहा है. If it's a well etched out character, and if you can bring in your part of the game here in the game, people will appreciate you no matter what happens. So I've taken that back for sure. You know, being a part of an ensemble cast is not that bad. It's a beautiful feeling to be selfless with all the actors out there.
Thank you so much again for your time, and all the best for Aashram and for all the upcoming projects. I hope I get to meet you, after this lockdown, and we do a one-on-one interview.
A one-on-one chat. Yes, you know, absolutely. We'll sit and we'll talk definitely for sure. You take care and be safe.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Goodbye.